Enjoy your new office in the basement. The CEO's son smirked as he signed the transfer papers. I forced a smile and said, "Great." He thought he'd buried me. What he didn't know was he had just handed me the perfect opportunity to bury him. If you've ever been underestimated, humiliated, or pushed down by someone who thought they were untouchable, this story is for you. Hit that like button, subscribe, and drop A in the comments if you believe karma has perfect timing. Now, let's dive into how I turned a basement punishment into poetic justice. When I first joined Hartwell Innovations, I thought I'd finally found my dream job. I was a systems analyst, quiet, reliable, the kind of person who fixed problems without making noise. For 3 years, I built a reputation as the guy who got things done. I saved projects, mentored new hires, and even got a company award once for developing a workflow that saved them $120,000 annually. Then, everything changed when Ethan, the CEO's son, joined the company. He was one of those people who walked in like he owned the place, because technically, he did. Fresh out of business school, armed with arrogance and zero real-world experience. And the worst part? He was my new direct manager. At first, I tried to play nice. I helped him understand the systems, quietly fixed his mistakes, even covered for him in meetings. But soon, it became obvious. Ethan didn't want help. He wanted control. He started taking credit for my work, cutting me off mid-sentence in team meetings, and once even said, "Maybe if you had a little more ambition, you wouldn't be stuck in IT." I bit my tongue. I had a mortgage, a family, responsibilities. You don't argue with the boss's son, right? But then came the transfer letter. One morning, HR called me in with a tight smile. "You've been reassigned," they said. "You'll be handling systems maintenance in the lower facility." I blinked. "You mean the basement?" "Yes," the HR rep replied. "Temporary adjustment, per Ethan's directive." When I confronted him, Ethan didn't even hide his glee. He leaned back in his chair, smirking. "Enjoy your new office in the basement," he said, signing the papers with a flourish. My jaw tightened. "Great," I replied, forcing a smile. Inside, though, something snapped. He wanted me out of sight. He wanted to humiliate me. But what he didn't realize was the basement was exactly where all the real systems ran. And if power was what he wanted, he just sent me straight to the source. The basement was damp, cold, and silent, except for the hum of servers and the occasional flicker of fluorescent lights. I sat at a metal desk surrounded by cables and old monitors, my office smelling faintly of mold and dust. At first, I was angry, bitter. But then, something changed. Down there, I was alone. No micromanaging, no interruptions, just me and the entire company's digital infrastructure. And as I started digging into the systems, I discovered something interesting. Ethan had been siphoning data from a confidential client project, one that was protected under strict NDAs. He was repackaging that data to impress investors, claiming it was new AI-driven insight. If those investors found out, if the board found out, Ethan wouldn't just be fired, he'd be facing criminal charges. I didn't act right away. I watched. I collected logs, timestamps, access trails. I backed up everything on a hidden external drive. And the deeper I looked, the worse it got. Fake reports, altered spreadsheets, even forged emails. It wasn't just arrogance, it was fraud. And the best part? Every digital fingerprint led right back to Ethan's personal login. I realized something then. Revenge wasn't about yelling or fighting back. It was about timing. A few weeks later, Ethan started parading his breakthrough results in front of the board. He'd taken my team's work, slapped his name on it, and started pitching investors for a massive funding round. The CEO, his father, was glowing with pride. "This is the kind of innovation I always knew my son had in him," he said. I stayed silent. I let him enjoy his moment. Because I knew the truth was about to blow the walls off that boardroom. Here's the thing about corporate fraud. It's not just about what you take. It's about what you leave behind. Ethan had left behind a trail so sloppy, even a junior IT intern could have traced it. So I set the stage. I created a backup of all the falsified reports and sent an anonymous email to the company's legal department, marked urgent, potential breach of client data. Then I scheduled a meeting invite for the CEO, the board, and the investors, using Ethan's name. The agenda? Presentation of new AI results and compliance audit discussion. When the day arrived, Ethan strutted into the room like a movie star. He began his pitch, smooth and confident. But 5 minutes in, the head of legal interrupted. "Ethan," she said, "these files you're presenting, can you explain the source of this data?" Ethan blinked. It's from our in-house R&D team. Proprietary analysis." She clicked her pen. "Funny, because our logs show this data belongs to a client under NDA, and your login credentials access their files without authorization." The room went dead silent. The CEO's smile vanished. I was watching from the back, pretending to take notes. Ethan's face turned the color of chalk. "What?" "No, that's not possible," he stammered. "There must be some mistake." Then legal dropped the bombshell. "Your father asked us to verify your access trail. Every file, every edit, every transfer, it all leads directly to you." He looked like he wanted to disappear. I didn't need to say a word. I just watched the dominoes fall. By the end of that week, Ethan was gone. Official story: voluntary resignation to pursue new opportunities. Reality: the CEO had quietly cut him off to avoid a public scandal. And me, the guy in the basement, I was called upstairs. The CEO himself shook my hand. "We owe you an apology," he said. "You were transferred unfairly, and your diligence saved this company from disaster." I nodded, keeping my face neutral. "Just doing my job, sir." But inside, I was glowing. He offered me a promotion, head of IT infrastructure, and a significant raise. "Oh, and one more thing," he added. "You can choose your office, anywhere in the building." I smiled. "Actually," I said, "I think I'll stay in the basement. It's where the power really is." It's been over a year since that day. Ethan's name is never mentioned at the company anymore. Rumor has it he tried to start his own firm, but with a reputation like that, nobody wanted to invest. Sometimes I think back to that moment when he smirked and said, "Enjoy your new